just to show the workflow that we do to assess sensitivity of the various WSJ-TX modes to either Doppler shift or dispersion. The first thing we do is use the window down here on the left, program graph JT for Tran, and we use that program to select either a spread or a shift rate, then select how many wave files we want to make for each set of data parameters. I set that to 100. We then choose our mode. See, we have our choice of JT65, FT8, QRA64, JT9, MSK144, JT4, iSCAT. I'll put this on JT9, and then we select the submode, and then select fast, and then we select our TR period. And then we go over here, I set my base frequency to 700 Hertz, set my base signal to noise ratio to -20. We select the parameter we're going to increment. That can either be none or shift spread or SNR, and we'll set that to SNR here. It always has to increment from low value to high value, so here we're starting at -20, and we'll increment up to 0 with the increments of 1. We then down here select the file directory where we want to put these files, and we click on Make Wave, and that will then generate all these files, and it's obviously going to be generating approximately 100 times beginning minus ending value of whatever you're incrementing divided by the increment. So if you've got 20 steps here and you're doing 100 for each, that's going to be about 2,000 wave files. So that takes maybe 5 minutes to generate, maybe less than that. Always seems like a long time when you're waiting, and I've already done that, and those files are all in this directory here. You can see we go from JT9E fast 0 Hertz, and you can see we go from 1 to 100 of that setting, and then next we go to signal to noise ratio of -1, and we just scroll through all of these till we finally get down to the signal to noise ratios of -20. So that's just the first part, creating all the wave files. The next part then is we'll select sum to evaluate, and let's just do SNR -16. So we'll come over here, we'll find -16 here, and let's see, we want to start with -16,001. We'll scroll all the way down to -16,100. I'll right click on this to copy it. I'll copy it over here to an empty temporary directory, paste it there. There are those files. I'll then come over here to WSJTX. I've got that directory selected, so I'll just click on the first file here to try to decode it, and then I'll go here and I'll click on decode remaining files in directory. And you can see it's decoding here as it goes through the 100 files. You can see that down here. We've just done 100 files, and we'll look here. We'll count the decodes. And the decode counter, I've got just a minor bug in it. If it's a non-zero number of decodes, it always decounts one less. So if it says it's got 99, it's actually got 100. If it says it has 1, it has 2. But if it says 0, it's actually got 0. So we'll just click on count decodes here. And all this is doing is looking at the all.txt file. You always have to start with an empty all.txt file. And it's looking for the selected text I put in here, W3SZ. We'll count that. And it says it got 21 decodes out of the 100 files. If we click over here on all text, just to prove what I told you, you can see you've got actually 22. And it's better obviously to put the whole message in. So here we could put in CQW3SZ FN20, and then let's clear this. We'll delete the well, no, we'll keep the same all.txt. We don't have to receive them, redecode them. We'll just click count decodes, and it's still got the 21 out of 21 like it did before. For the most of the modern JT modes, it really isn't going to matter if you've got the whole text in or part of it, because of their very good uh, error correction. But it's best to put the entire message in here. And if you're doing iSCAT, for example, where there can be incorrect message decoding fairly frequently when the SNR is poor, it'd be very important to have the entire message in there. So anyway, so we do that, and then what we do next is we just come over here to the command window. We delete all the files in the temporary directory here. We clear everything from WSJTX. We clear this. We'd ordinarily rename so we can identify it, the all.txt file, and put that in another directory. I've already done that for all of these. I've actually already done all of this here. I've got those all sitting down here, but in this case I'll just delete it. We'll delete it there because that needs to be empty when we start a new run. And then let's go and pick another signal to noise ratio. And let's just do, that was 16 we did. Let's do minus 15 here. So we'll just scroll down till we get to minus 15. Again, we want to start with the first one here. There, we collected all 100. We'll copy it over to our temporary directory again. There they are. We'll then just open the first file, and then we'll decode the remaining files in the directory, and you can see it's going through here pretty rapidly. I've got this all automated, so it's if you try to make these WAV files by hand or the decodes by hand, it would take you a huge amount of time. Even as it is, it's not instantaneous. And then we'll just count the decodes, and we've got 92 counted. So again, it's going to be 1 plus that. So we actually decoded 93 out of the 100. And the reason it says 92 records with 92 successful decodes is, as you know, all.txt will only give you a record if there's a decode. So where nothing was decoded, you don't have a record. So you have 92 for your denominator here instead of 100. And again, with the modern modes, it's if you have a decode, it's virtually certain it's going to be correct. So it's always going to be like 92 out of 92 or 21 out of 21, whatever. Again, with some of the older modes like iSCAT, that's not true. You could have it say something like maybe 62 out of 97 if it had 97 decodes, but 30 some of them were bad. And again, that's why it's important to put the full message in all the time, but particularly if you're working with those older modes. So that's all you do, and then you again would clear this, clear WSJTX, and come over here and delete all your files, and repeat till you had done all of the increments. There we go. I just messed up by clicking it without looking at what I was doing. So that's how you do it. It's very straightforward, but it will be tedious, obviously, when you're doing large data sets.